There's a woman right now with four separate income streams listed in her Instagram bio, and she is working harder than she ever did at her old 9 to 5. And there's a man 2 states away with exactly one income stream who hasn't touched it in 14 months, and it just quietly paid his mortgage again. Most people assume the woman with four streams is the one who figured it out. They're wrong. Today, I'm going to show you why the phrase passive income has become one of the most profitable lies in personal finance, who benefits from you believing it, and what it actually costs the people who fall for it. Danielle was a labor and delivery nurse making $61,000 a year, and like a lot of people in 2024, she started watching videos that promised her freedom through passive income. So she built four of them. She opened a print-on-demand shop selling nurse-themed mugs and shirts. She listed her SUV on a car-sharing app for weekends she wasn't using it. She started a Poshmark closet, reselling thrifted clothing. And she launched a $5 a month newsletter about hospital shift work. Within 8 months, she was making an extra $1,400 a month across all four, and she told everyone she'd built passive income. What she didn't post about was the 22 hours a week it was actually taking her. Responding to Poshmark messages during her lunch breaks. Detailing her car between rentals. Redesigning mock-ups when a shirt design flopped. Writing the newsletter at 11 at night after a 12-hour shift. Nobody explains this part, but when you divide $1,400 by roughly 95 hours a month of unpaid maintenance, messaging, restocking, and admin, Danielle was earning about $14.70 an hour before she'd even set aside money for the self-employment tax she now owed on top of it. She had quietly built a second job and marketed it to herself as freedom. Marcus made almost the same salary as Danielle, $58,000 a year, working in facilities maintenance, and 18 months earlier, he'd done something that looked, frankly, boring. He spent one weekend recording a single instructional course on HVAC repair basics for property managers, uploaded it once to a course platform, and then didn't touch it again except to answer the occasional email, maybe 20 minutes a month. In its first year, it made him around $6,000, less than Danielle's four hustles combined. But here's the number that matters, the one almost nobody calculates. Marcus's 20 minutes a month works out to roughly $250 an hour of his time. Danielle's $14.70 an hour meant she was functionally underpaying herself relative to her own nursing wage of around $29 an hour to do extra work she called passive. Marcus, doing almost nothing, was earning more per hour of actual input than either of them made at their day jobs by a wide margin. Let's put a lifetime lens on this, because a single year understates it badly. If Danielle keeps her four hustles running at the same pace for 10 years, she will have put in roughly 11,000 hours of unpaid maintenance work on top of her full-time nursing job to generate somewhere around $168,000 in extra income before taxes. If Marcus's course income simply holds steady, which is a conservative assumption, since course platforms tend to compound through reviews and search ranking rather than decay, he generates roughly $60,000 over that same decade for about 40 total hours of his time. Ever. Now, here's the part that should genuinely bother you. If Danielle had instead taken those same 11,000 hours and put them towards something with true zero marginal cost, after creation, a course, a template, a tool, licensed content, even a rental property managed by a property manager, at Marcus's effective hourly rate that time would have been worth over $2.5 million. She didn't lose money doing four side hustles. She lost the opportunity cost of 11,000 hours. That could have built something that scales without her. This reveals the actual lie hiding inside the phrase passive income, and it has nothing to do with effort at the start. It's about what happens to your income when you personally stop showing up. Real passive income is defined by one test only. Does the money keep arriving if you get the flu for 3 weeks and don't check your phone? Danielle's four hustles fail that test completely. Unanswered Poshmark messages mean lost sales. An undetailed car means canceled bookings. A newsletter nobody writes loses subscribers within a month. Every one of her four streams requires her continued, personal, ongoing labor to keep functioning, which by definition makes it active income wearing a disguise. Marcus's course keeps selling whether he's asleep, on vacation, or sick, because the labor was spent once, at the beginning, building something that doesn't need him anymore. Here's the contrarian insight that should change how you evaluate every side hustle idea you've ever been sold. The entire side hustle content industry profits from confusing you between two completely different things: income that requires repeated personal labor forever, and income that requires labor exactly once. Multiple income streams sounds impressive and diversified, but four things that each demand your ongoing attention aren't diversification. They're four part-time jobs stacked on top of your real job, each one competing for the same limited hours in your evening. And creators selling you on starting 5 hustles at once are rarely the ones who have to personally fulfill the orders, answer the messages, or drive the car to get detailed at 10 at night. This pattern shows up far beyond side hustles, in what economists studying gig platforms have found again and again when they measure real effective hourly earnings rather than headline revenue. Once you subtract mileage, packaging, platform fees, insurance, and unpaid admin time, a large share of popular gig and resale platforms pay their average active participant less than minimum wage per hour worked, even while total monthly revenue numbers look genuinely exciting on a screenshot. The revenue was never fake. What was missing was the denominator, the actual hours required to keep generating it. Think about what this really cost Danielle beyond the money. She was exhausted in a way. Her nursing shifts alone never made her, because sleep doesn't fully restore you from decision fatigue. And customer service messages the way it restores you from physical labor. She missed 2 of her daughter's soccer games, rushing to detail the car for a same-day rental. She told herself for over a year that she was building freedom, when she was actually building a second employer who never had to pay her overtime, never gave her a raise, and could vanish the moment she stopped logging in. So here is exactly what to do with this. First, take every income idea you're currently considering and ask one blunt question. Before you start it, if I disappeared for a month, would this still pay me? If the honest answer is no, label it correctly in your head as a side job, not passive income, and decide if the hourly return is actually worth it compared to overtime or a raise at your existing job. Second, if you want something that survives your absence, build it once and let it compound. A piece of content, a licensed asset, an automated investment contribution, rather than a service you personally have to keep performing. Third, calculate your real hourly rate on anything you're already doing by dividing total monthly income by total monthly hours, including the invisible admin time, before you tell yourself or anyone else that it's passive. The biggest lesson here isn't that side hustles are bad. It's that the word passive has been stretched to cover almost anything that isn't a traditional 9 to 5, when the only thing that actually matters is whether your income needs you to keep showing up. Danielle wasn't lazy or bad at business. She built 4 functioning income streams, which is genuinely harder than most people ever attempt. But she built 4 things that needed her forever, when one thing that needed her once would have paid her more, cost her less of her life, and kept compounding long after she stopped thinking about it. If you've been chasing multiple income streams and feeling more tired instead of more free, that's not a sign you need a 5th one. That's the system correctly telling you that what you built wasn't passive at all. It just found a new name for the same old trade of your hours for someone else's convenience. And the only way out is building something once that finally stops needing you. So let's be honest for a second. If you've got a side hustle running right now and you've never actually divided the income by the hours, you're not alone. That's exactly the math nobody wants you to run. Here's what I want to know. What's your real hourly rate? Do the division and drop the number in the comments, even if it's embarrassing, especially if it's embarrassing. I read everyone, and it's usually where I find my next episode. If you'd rather not do the math in your head, I made a free passive income reality check. Links in the description, download it, run the disappear test, and see if what you built actually qualifies as passive. If this changed how you think about the word passive, hit like. It tells the algorithm this actually helped someone, not just entertained them. And subscribe, because this channel exists to find the real number hiding behind the headline one. See you in the comments. One last thing before you go. Hitting like takes only 2 seconds, but it's exactly what tells the algorithm this is worth showing to more people. And if you're not subscribed yet, that's the other half of it. It's free. And it's honestly the biggest thing you can do to help this channel keep going.